Consumer behavior in tourist industry has been changing constantly in recent years. Within the factors that affect a consumer behavior in tourist industry in terms of the four generations consumer personal factor, social factor, situational factor, and economic factor. Now we will talk about the demographic part. First question in demographic is gender. Our research has been reaching to 293 respondents from 4 different generations. According to the data from this figure, we have achieved the highest number of respondents from Generation Z with 185 people, followed by Generation X with 51 people and 39 respondents from Generation Y and 80 baby boomers. Furthermore, the majority of our respondents are female with 62% respondents and reached 38% with male respondents. The next question of demographic part in our question is marital status. Majority of the respondents are single with 75% and 25% respondents are married. Those respondents who are married are focused on middle-aged people including Generation X and baby boomers. The third question of demographic part in our survey question is occupations. Since most of our respondents are from 18 years old to 23 years old, majority of them are students, but there are some of them also self-employed, working at private sector and government sector. Except Generation Z, majority of the other 3 generations are working at private sector with 16 out of 75 respondents and followed by self-employed, government sector and unemployed. We can see that there is still have some of the people facing unemployed issue nowadays. Out of 293 respondents, there are 17 people without job. The last question of demographic is monthly income. Most of the Generation Z have low income level with RM2000 and below since they are students. But there are 126 respondents who are working have income from RM2000 and 1 to RM5000 and above. Referring to the result, we also notice people from 40 years old to 74 years old have higher income level with RM5000 and above. It can be assumed as they have more stable income compared to the young generation. Next, we are going to talk about the personal factors. In the personal factors, we have asked respondents how often do you travel in a year. The word travel here includes domestic and international travel. According to the result, it is identifiable that about 67% of the respondents travel once or twice a year, which make the most preferred option for this question. 16% of the respondents expressed that they make 3 to 4 trips a year. Only 8% of them are traveling 5 trips and above in a year. In addition, this study also found some participants never went to a trip in a year. Most of the Generation Z able to travel 1 to 2 times a year may because of they are still studying in college and university. They can only travel when semester break or festival holiday. It can be concluded that this generation is not a generation who travel a lot and they make their travel decision based on their current financial situation. Therefore, some of them never even get the chance to travel in a year. The second question is, how do you organize your holiday? Out of 293 participants, about 139 of them turned out to be planning their trip on their own. However, the option stating internet secured the second position with 114 participants. On the other hand, travel agencies secured only 15 respondents as a means of travel planning. Basically, young people such as Generation Z and Generation Y have sufficient time and knowledge, as well as social media platforms to plan their holiday. For that reason, they are willing to organize their holiday by themselves or through internet. The next question we have asked responded, what drive or motivates you to go for holiday? There was a variety of responses what motivates the respondent to go for holiday. Based on this figure, we can identify that resting and relaxing is the most vital motivator with 236 out of 293 participants. Experience new place. Culture has secured the second position with 218 respondents. Time with friends, family lengthily with a preference of 199 respondents. 191 respondents would like to travel because of enjoying the local food and beverage, while outstanding scenery was selected by 123 participants as their motivate to go for vacation. The quantity of 96 respondents think that their travel motivate is to have a city break and shopping. It cannot be denied that 68 respondents went travel because of the interesting history and heritage, while 43 participants are to maintain their social status by traveling. Lastly, there are only 30 respondents travel for attending an event such as concert or sport event, and this is the lower frequency in this overall study. The fourth question is, how much is your budget for each person when you travel? This figure shows the budget for each person when traveling. Young tends to spend mainly on trips because of they are students. 105 respondents from Generation Z are budgeting an RM2000. Also, 52%, which is 151 respondents from all generations, are preferred at RM2000. In this study, 29% of the participants budget at RM3000 on their vacation, and 11% of participants willing to spend RM4000. Moreover, the option of RM5000 and above only secure an 8% of respondents, which is 24 of them. The last question of personal factor is with whom you travel the most. We found that the most selected option for all generations is traveling with family, which accounts for 185 participants. There are mostly 78 respondents are traveling with their friends. The remaining 30 participants travel with couple, travel alone, and followed by 3 people travel with colleagues.
So next, I'm going to talk about the social factors. So from the survey question, we have asked the respondent what social media did you use. This study identified most of the participants picked Facebook as the social media that they are using. There is a total number of 264 over 293 respondents has selected Facebook. According to the result, the second popular social media was Instagram with 233 participants, while YouTube occupied 222 respondents, which ranked the third position. After that, TikTok, Snapchat, followed by Twitter only take a number of 70, 66, and 38 of the participants. Most of the users are these three social medias was Generation Z, because these were the newly developed and new trend social network nowadays. Therefore, the older generation may not have the chance to fully experience or use it. The next survey question, we have asked the respondent, did you follow any famous travel blogger in the social media? So from this study, there are 159 out of 293 respondents, which is 54% of them state they are following travel blogger, and most of them are from Generation Z because they use social media frequently. It took about half of the participants select this option. However, 46% of the respondents did not follow any travel bloggers in the social media platform, and it is about 134 of them. The last question of social factors is it environmental factors and sustainability of the destination is important? So, most of the respondents, about 45% of respondents, turned out to strongly agree that environmental factor and sustainability of the destination is important. The option stating agree secured the second position with 109 out of 293 respondents. 47 participants expressed that they neither agree nor disagree environmental factors and sustainability of the place is crucial. Furthermore, this study also found some respondents disagree with the statement. This option only chosen by 4 participants. Next, we will talk about the situational factors. First, we have asked the respondent which of the following are you willing to spend more during travel. We have researched on their perspective where they would be willing to spend their money on. So based on this figure, most of the people have selected food and beverage out of 293 respondents. 239 people selected food and beverage and followed by accommodation with 122 people picked. After that, followed by entertainment and shopping selection that most of the respondents choose were occupied 99 and 87 respondents. In addition, 38 respondents selected organized tour and 45 respondents willing to spend more on transportation. In overall, these 4 generations are more willing to spend their money on food and beverage. Furthermore, second option for Generation Z was they will spend more on entertainment. Generation Y and X show their second spending preferred choice will be accommodation. The next question we have talked about what are the enjoyment and influencing factors on a trip. So this study allowed the respondent to mark up their top 3 preference in terms of enjoyment and influence factor on paper trip. There are 5 highest factor people selected experience something new and different. There are 59% of respondents have fun, have 58% of respondents, followed by experience local culture. There are 124 respondents, and local cuisine. There are 113 respondents, and popularity of the destination. There are 36% of respondents. Moreover, the other two preference authenticity and uniqueness of the destination and accommodation stay has occupied 89 and 69 respondents accordingly. The less preference choices from the respondents are luxury with 34 respondents, status and prestige are 31 respondents, and followed by ambience there are 29 respondents, and experience something familiar there are 23 respondents. The last question of situational factor is, would you travel to the same destination if you enjoy the trip there? So most of the respondents, about 58% of them said they would love to travel to the same destination if they enjoy the trip there. And 39% of respondents said they have to depends on the situation. Only 10 out of 293 respondents would not travel to the same destination. In conclude upon this question, the possibility of the tourists to get back to the same tourist destination is very high since they enjoy the place there. Therefore, the tourist attraction within the destination and their concern when they travel need to be taken into consideration in order to get people traveling back. So lastly, I will talk about the economic factors. From the survey question, we have asked about will you plan to have a short trip if our country economic downturn? So due to the global pandemic, a lot of places has been locked down to prevent the spreading of the virus. This is a current example that economic downturn and a lot of family are no income during that period, and this become a huge impact to the tourism industry. So according to our research, most of the people are willing to have a short trip even the country economic downturn. Out of total of 293 respondents, only 24 respondents said they will not be having trip during the economic downturn. 136 respondents say yes and 133 say maybe. From that, we see economic downturn couldn't affect much on their decision to have a small trip among these 4 generations. Only small part of the people will be affected and not going for any trips. So our conclusion is the aim of this project is to understanding the buying behavior of consumer in tourism industry and the factors that affecting their travel behavior. We have gone through many processes in order to achieve the research objectives. First of all, we come out with the proposal of the project, then we did research about the buying behavior during traveling of the fourth generation, then we started to distribute the questionnaire through social media as well as analyze all the results after we collected the data. Generally, each generation has its own buying behavior when traveling, especially the biggest gaps between Generation Z and Baby Boomer. Therefore, tourism industry should aware of different consumer buying behavior to identify their business strategy respectively. That's all. Thank you for listening.